Hey girl, hey. Happy Friday. I am making a video and hopefully the audio is not too bad because I don't have my mic. The thing is, I didn't plan on making a video. It was a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day here in Colorado. And I was like, you know what? I need to get out of the house. And seemingly everyone else thought the same. And it's just crazy. Everybody and their mom and cousin is out here enjoying the weather, and rightfully so. I get it. At the same time, you know, it's funny because I was like, I need to get out of the house, but I don't want to be bothered by nobody. I don't want to be bothered by anyone, but everyone is out. So I'm like sitting in my car in the parking lot at Skills, All Sports. I'm here. And it's interesting, there's so many people in this store, and I love the store too, by the way. I love the outdoors and the camping and the hiking and the golf and all that stuff. I love those kind of stores because it is so inspirational. It makes you just want to get a hobby. But I don't want to be bothered. I don't want anyone to look at me or talk to me. It's just been an interesting energy, I feel. No, it's just been weird. Like, I don't know how to explain how I feel. So I thought maybe I can do a video on advice I would give to my daughter. Advice that I would give to my younger self, my daughter, anyone that would listen, I guess. And, you know, take a little break away from spirituality and talking about that. And while we're on the subject, I have been toying around with the idea of doing something different, you know, doing something a little more fun, less heavy. I just want to get back to fun and play. I met with my girlfriend this week and we were just talking about life, and it just made me think about a lot of things. And some things, you know, oftentimes I would say I don't live with a lot of regret. But as of recently, I kind of have been in the energy of regret. A lot. So I guess I'll start with the first piece of advice I would give to my daughter or myself is when you go to the bathroom and all the other stalls are empty and there's one person in there, don't use the stall next to the one person in there. I hate that. Like, girl, all these other empty stalls and you choose the one right next to me. Okay? You could have gap it. You gotta gap it. Okay? Put some space between us. You don't know what I'm doing in there. Okay? That would be my first piece of advice. My second piece of advice, and this is what I've been contending with and wrapping my head around. So I'll preface this next thing that I'm about to say with this. So my kids are actually with my parents. So they're with their grandparents, with my parents this summer, and they're going to go to their dad's parents' house, their other grandparents. And so it's just given me a lot of space to really think about things and unpack a lot of choices I've made in my life and the decisions I've made and why, and just being curious about why I made those decisions and things like that. So the second piece of advice I would give to anyone that would listen is don't get married right away. Like, and by that, when I say right away, I don't mean the length of time that you've been together. I mean, like, if you like right out of high school or right out of college or something like that, where you've been with your parents and then you get into a marriage like that, because that doesn't allow you time to gain a sense of self, to discover who you truly are and what you like and what you don't like. Now, in a marriage, obviously, you're going to grow and evolve, and so hopefully you will grow together and in the same direction, in the same energy. And so you want to make sure you have the same values and goals out of life, and what integrity means to you, and what does a relationship look like to you, and these kind of things. When you are right out of high school, where you were living with your parents and heavily influenced by their sense of self, you don't have a good idea of your own sense of self unless they actually gave you the space to have a sense of self. But oftentimes that influence is so heavy that until you get out on your own, you don't really have that really strong sense of self. And when you get into like something as serious as marriage, that you still don't have that space to allow yourself the freedom to get your own sense of self. And that's the piece of advice I would give to my daughter. And I think because I got married young, I was still in college, and I was still in college. And actually, when I had my first child, I was still in college. I think, sometimes our children will see what we did and think that is what they should do. And I would tell them otherwise. Especially my son, I tell him all the time, if you, like, you don't even have to go to college right after high school. It's like, go travel, go explore and learn about yourself, and really discover who you are first, before, especially a man, takes on the responsibility of a family to steward a family. I do think that women can get married younger than men. I don't think men should get married in their 20s, to be honest. And that, I guess that would be my third piece of advice. Now, learn yourself, get a sense of self, figure out who you are, what your likes are, what your dislikes are, and who you truly are. But as a woman, I feel like women are more mature and they can get married younger, versus men need time. They need time. I would not recommend my son to get married before. Hopefully you can hear me, because it is hot and I got the air on. Let me see if I can turn it. I'm turning it up. Hopefully you can hear me. But I would recommend my son get married at like 35. Around 35, in his 30s at least. I would recommend my daughter to get married in her 20s. Mid to later 20s. Double standard? Yes. Okay, yes. For sure. Yes, for sure. That would be my thing. Okay, so what was that, 3? Number 4 would be, when people show you who they are the first time, believe them. Believe them. And there's been so many times in my life, outside of romantic relationships, that, you know, I would just give people the benefit of the doubt. And I think that was how I was raised. And I'm not meaning like from my parents, but like just as a woman. How I was raised as a woman, it's like you give people the benefit of the doubt. And that opens you up to some dangerous situations. And I think that you should really, as a woman, and I think this is just our gift, is to trust your intuition and really rely on your gut. There has been so many times where I just bypassed what my body was telling me, what felt icky in my body and my intuition, and I should have listened. I really should have listened. Truly. Yeah. Whether it be business partnerships, business opportunities, romantic relationships, all the things, I should have trusted my body. And, you know, I would override what my body was telling me, like totally override it. I'm like, this does not feel good. And I would just override it. And now at this stage in my life, I'm like, okay, either we need to take some steps back, do some more research, or stuff like that. Really trust your guts. And along those same lines, I think for a lot of us, we were raised that our feelings don't matter. That how we feel, the pain, the hurt, the things that we contend with internally don't matter. And my fifth piece of advice would be that you matter. You matter. And if you're ever in a situation where people are treating you as if you don't matter, or they are moving and operating in a way where your feelings don't matter, your accolades don't matter, celebrating you and all the things, and your pain doesn't matter, your hurt doesn't matter, run. Okay? You matter. Your feelings matter. How you feel matters. I think the sixth piece of advice I would give is that, I forgot it that quickly. Oh, the sixth, honey, the sixth piece of advice that I would give my daughter, to my younger self, is decenter men. Decenter men. And I don't mean that you don't deal with men or men aren't great, but don't live your life, your I am as it is in relation to a man. And not just a man, but anyone else really. You know, we often live our life in who we are in relation to someone else, not in a way that's like I'm expressing me. We move differently and we morph, transform, become transformers in relation to a man, typically. Instead of when I'm in the presence of a man, I'm an expression of my beingness in the presence of other people. I am an expression of my beingness in the presence of other people, not my I am morphs in relation to someone else. So it's interesting. I was thinking about that. I was having this conversation with my girlfriend that I met with. We had some deep conversation, but this week, and we were talking about that, and you know, I talk a little bit about it on my channel when it comes to kind of, we have this narrative of like dimming our light, or we have this narrative of boys will be boys, men will be men look, and and you just have to be okay with those kind of things and how men are. I have to be a certain way because of how men are, versus me being a way, an expression of my beingness, and it's the same in their presence. You know what I mean? Like, we have to morph and transform in relation to how men are, versus us just being an expression of the divine, us being an expression of all that is, everything. You know? And I realized that has been the conditioning of my life. Having to tiptoe around how men are, and having to morph myself, my I amness, who I am, based off of who they are. Like, for an example, most women do not want their man looking at other women. It's hurtful. It doesn't feel good. I don't think men would like that, but I was just looking at men all willy-nilly. Like, they wouldn't like that either. Like, no. That would invoke some insecurities within them, especially if I'm gawking at a man that doesn't look like you. You know what I mean? That might have bigger muscles, that might, whatever it is. They wouldn't like that. And women don't like that. And it's almost like the advice is, men are visual. You have to morph who you are and how you feel based off of who they are. And that's not true. That's not true. Okay? And that's this thing about decentering who they are and morphing who you are based off of that. And so, yeah. I don't know what piece of advice that is, but it's in there somewhere. But yeah, that would be the thing, is really, I think, for women, is gaining a sense of self, not morphing who you are in relation to who it is, or in relation to a man. Okay? And it's interesting, I was actually watching this podcast by Anmore White. He's a dating coach, and he is amazing, by the way. Honey, amazing. I love his stuff because he takes such a different approach when it comes to dating, because it really isn't about dating. It's really the journey about getting your sense of self, which is so important for women. And gaining your sense of self is what's going to help you understand your worth. Your worth is priceless. And anyways, so he did a podcast and it was quite insightful. And he was talking about how safety is an illusion. And I was like, yes. 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 Because truly, it is this real deep sense of trust. Trust in yourself and trust in life. And now when we talk about manifested like a woman, we are talking about this relationship with life. Life being the material world, which is our man, the masculine, material world masculine. Life is my man, and trusting in life. And this whole like being safe and safety is an illusion, because what it boils down to is trust in yourself and trust in life. And essentially, you are life, because life is the masculine aspect of yourself. So, I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know if you can see me because the lighting has changed so much, but I'm enjoying our conversation. I really wanted to share some advice and some things that I had just been contending with. It's just been really interesting. I feel like the energy is just odd. Yeah, I feel like it's a collective weird energy. Truly. Yeah. It's interesting because the energy feels new. It feels new, but it also feels kind of the same. So it feels new, but it also feels the same. Does that make sense? Yeah, I just been thinking about a lot of things and having to unpack some decisions and choices I've made over the years and why, and just being curious about it. And I think that that's important because it actually leads to your liberation. Now, if you've ever been in like a toxic cycle, things have keep coming up, I think that that is a really important place to be in. A space of, first of all, you need the space, but a space to actually unpack some things and be curious about, why did I keep choosing that over and over again? Over and over again. Why did I keep choosing that? And when you gain that wisdom and knowledge and you start looking at things for what they are, and you see life for what it is, as if you chose it because you did, then you can start really healing. And what's interesting is that once you start healing and you start getting some answers and getting some revelations, and you start seeing things a little more clearer, you'll start grieving. Because what's happening is that you're grieving the person you used to be. The person you used to be. Because you're not that person anymore. And this is us rising in consciousness, going to another level. And though we might grieve her, we can also be excited and have a sense of joy for this next level in which we are rising to. So the lighting is terrible, but maybe if I do that, is that better? No, it get too hot, girl. It's getting too hot. Now the question is if I'm going to go into the store or not, because there's a lot of people. But I did need to get out the house. Maybe this was therapeutic for me to share this advice, these advices. Is that how you say it? These advices? Advice? Is advice plural? I did want to kind of take a break away from spirituality and that heaviness. I think I was going to say this earlier, but me and my girlfriend, she wants to start a YouTube channel that she already has one, but she wants one that's a little more fun. And I just kind of been thinking about that. Like, I want to do something a little more fun, a little more lighthearted, and, because even if I just did a YouTube channel where I gave advice, I feel like it would be a little more light than talking about spirituality. And even though that is a big part of my life, sometimes I feel like perhaps that should just be for me. So, and that's another thing. At Shoes, All Sports, these kind of stores, if you're looking for a partner, good place to go. Just saying. Good place to go. That would be my 7th piece of advice. If you're looking for a man, hit up Shields. Anyways, oh my gosh, this video is so long. I think I'm going to end it here. I think I gave some good advice. Especially that last one. Anyways, you guys, that's all for this video. I would love to know your thoughts, or I don't know if I would love to know your thoughts, but if you have something positive, leave it below, and I will check you guys in the next video. Peace.